If you're already familiar with the payments industry and understand the difference between an issuer and a processor, click here to skip ahead and see how Shift4 does things better. Otherwise, hold on and class will begin in 3, 2, 1.
Alright, welcome to Credit Card 101.
There are 5 players involved in a typical credit card transaction. The cardholder,
Let's call her Jane.
the merchant,
This could be a hotel, restaurant, or my favorite, a shoe store.
the merchant's bank,
Kind of self-explanatory, but this is the shoe store's bank, where they have their account.
next the card brands, Visa, American Express, MasterCard, take your pick. Finally, the issuing bank. This is where Jane got her card in the first place.
So Jane opened a Visa at her local bank and is now on the hunt for new shoes.
That's all the players. Now let's see a typical transaction.
Jane's got a hot date tonight, so of course she needs new shoes. She found the perfect ones and now it's time to check out. She hands her credit card to the cashier and a few seconds later the clerk hands her new red pumps.
But it's what happens in those few seconds that we care about. First, the cashier, the merchant, processes the card and her point of sale system, that's fancy payment speak for her computer, sends the payment request on to her merchant bank.
The merchant bank figures out the brand of the card. Is it a Visa, MasterCard, American Express? And sends a request onto that card network. Jane uses her new Visa. Then Visa determines which bank gave Jane the card, the issuing bank, and sends a request on to them.
The issuing bank looks at Jane's account and checks to make sure that her shoe obsession hasn't put her over her credit limit. If she still has enough credit available to cover the shoes, a response is sent back to Visa approving the purchase. Visa sends that approval back to the merchant's bank, who forwards it to the shoe store. Finally, the cashier sees that the order was approved and hands Jane the shoes. Everyone's happy.
That whole process takes place in less than 3 seconds. 3 seconds! About half the time it takes you to yawn. Amazing, isn't it? But there's more to a transaction than just charging a card. Let's look at what happens after Jane leaves the store.
At the end of the day, the shoe store settles all of their credit transactions for the day and sends the transaction records to their merchant bank. The merchant bank sorts all of the transactions by card brand and then sends the transactions to their respective card associations.
The card association authorizes a payment back to the merchant's bank to cover all these transactions, and the merchant's bank pays the shoe store, minus a fee. Then the card association bills the issuing bank and receives payment in return. Finally, Jane receives her monthly bill. And that's pretty much how it works.
This same thing